Okay, in this final section, I want to talk about how to become the person that you most needed. If you're like me, if you're going into the healing and healthing professions, if you're a person who has struggled in life, chances are you have this image in your mind of who you want to be to other people. All of us have really personal reasons for doing what we do personally and professionally. And my experience is that those tend to be primarily subconscious in nature, or even if we're conscious of what it is that we're trying to become, what's missing, again, is the piece of who we are to ourselves, how we relate to ourselves. So I knew from a young age that one day I wanted to be a father and that I wanted to be the dad that ideally I would have had. And so that was a guiding force in my life. That was the biggest principle by which I lived. And I was very blessed. I have two children. They're now 30 and 31. They're amazing. They were the most, and are, the two most important people in my life. And they, along with my wife, are the family that I wish I had had growing up. But it took me a long time to learn this. My children were 8 and 9 years old when I went into therapy as a client. I had children very young. I was absolutely terrified. And so the only thing that I knew to do was to work as hard as I could to provide, with them as much as I possibly could, and contribute to their upbringing in every possible way. When I went into therapy as a client, I had high functioning depression. Clinically, it's called dysthymia. And so I was living my life at 100 miles an hour, trying to be this person to everybody that wasn't me, and most especially to my wife and to my children. So making those changes occurred very painfully, very in a way that was very easy to understand and very hard to do. My therapist played a trick on me. She asked me to describe my son. And I did. And I raved and raved and raved about how wonderful he was in every way, because he was and he is. And when I got done and I couldn't think of one more wonderful thing to say about him, my therapist asked me, "Now, isn't that how you always wanted somebody to feel about you?" So I cried for the rest of that session because, yes, that was very much the missing piece, and it was very much unintentional. But I realized that a lot of the ways in which I related to myself and treat myself were learned behavior. They were avoidant at best and abusive at worst. And so changing that contrast between who I am to others and who I am to myself is vital. Professionally, it is also vital. A lot of us go into the healing and helping professions with ulterior motives. I love talking to my students about this. I'll ask, why do you want to become a therapist? Why do you want to become a nurse? Why do you want to become whatever it is you're becoming? And they'll always say, because I want to help people. And that sounds so nice, but I'll ask them a follow-up question that kind of floors them. I'll ask, why? Why do you want to help people? And most often it's something that we've never really considered. And on a purely subconscious level, what I came to understand about myself was I had hoped that if I did enough good in the world, or helped enough people, or supported enough people in overcoming their suffering, that it would take away mine. And of course, it doesn't work that way. Healing is a selfish act that is incredibly healthy. All of these investments in selves, all of these choices in self, are, for a lot of us, reclaiming our birthright, allowing ourselves to develop and to have what should have been ours from the earliest days of our lives. So I encourage you to reflect on that. Maybe that's true for you, maybe it isn't. But no matter what, there are always opportunities to become the person that you most want to be. And if you're like me, then the opportunity is to become the kind of person that you needed as a child, the kind of person you needed as an adolescent, the kind of person you needed as a young adult. The desire to have an older, wiser person that cares about me and guides me doesn't go away. I'm 52, and I would still very much like to have that person in my life. But the change that I made was, for lack of a better term, becoming my own dad. Treating myself and allowing into my life that which is good for me, and essentially treating myself the way that I treat my children. Our choices around identity should not be based on who others want us to be. They should not be based solely on the roles that we participate in. Ideally, they should be based on a vision of the person that you want to become. Your professional goals may be very congruent with that. Your personal goals ideally will be very congruent with that. If you are going into the healing and helping professions, then I urge you not to work from a persona. Don't wear a mask. Don't pretend to be somebody that you're not. The world does not need more well-meaning social workers. It does not need more ineffective therapists. The world does not need people that have nice intentions but can't really sit with other people's pain, or be effective. So here's the key to effectiveness in the healing and helping professions. The degree to which you are comfortable with yourself, the degree to which you care for yourself, the degree to which you engage in your own healing will absolutely determine your effectiveness. And that's the piece that I rarely, if ever, hear people talking about, but in all my years of doing this work, it is the absolute truth. It is something that I urge people who are entering the field to do. And for folks who remain in the field, I say to them, our reasons for staying in the field will not be the reasons that we came into the field. They can't be. I often say to people, I don't care how healthy you are, go to therapy. Even if you are completely overjoyed in life, you should know the humility of sitting on the other side of that desk. I encourage folks to continue to invest and to reach out and make connections with kindred spirits. We can't do this work alone. We absolutely need each other. So I hope that you have people in your life that are kindred spirits, that are on similar journeys, that support you. If you struggle to find such folks, if you have questions that really you don't have somebody good to pose to, contact me. Counseling@roadrunner.com. I'm always happy to hear from folks. Would love to hear what your experience of the course is, but would also love to hear the questions that you have. I hope that you will invest some time. I strongly urge you to do a little bit of journaling. It can be anything. It can be free writing. It can be going back through the sections and looking at characteristics that you want to add or remove, looking at habits that you'd like to develop. And then don't leave these as just nice intentions. Go back, make a plan, have accountability, have support, follow through. You deserve to become the person that you most want to be, and you deserve to be a work in progress. There is not a final destination for us to arrive at. My goal will be to continue to learn and grow and heal for as long as I will live. And my experience is that that's eminently possible. But I have to be willing to make myself a priority in my own life, and I have to really work at becoming more and more self-accepting, more and more comfortable with who I am and how I am. And my experience is that self-love, I think, is an ideal. I think it's something that we work towards but maybe never fully attain. I can tell you that I really like me. I accept every part of me. And I spent the first 30 years of my life being my own worst enemy. So in the work that I do today, it is vital. I work almost exclusively with survivors of trauma. They absolutely have the ability to read me like a book. And the difference between me and a high percentage of professionals is I like what they're reading. So again, invest in you. Connect with me if I can be helpful to you. Counseling@roadrunner.com. Take care. Be good to you.